Welcome, everybody, to the show. I don't expect to get a lot of people to the show tonight. Maybe you're watching later after I've put the show out, but at either rate, we've got a lot of things changing in the tech computer industry. A lot of stuff happening with AI. It's changing the world forever, and it's time we had a little talk about it. Maybe you guys can get a little bit more of a familiar ization with it from this show that I'm going to do. We're going to talk about the different changes that are happening with the processors, the different types of speed tests that are happening, and the different types of things that are going to be happening going forward with the landscape when it comes to computers. No longer will you just try to buy the best thing for what you're wanting to do, but you will have multiple options available to you, which is absolutely terrific. So, yeah, people need to consider a lot of options out there these days. Intel's got their whole new Core Ultra series of processors hitting the market right now, just hitting with laptops. You've got AMD later this year should come out with their Zen 5 architecture processors. You have Snapdragon coming out with a processor called the X Elite. And also, obviously, there are plenty of other options out there in the processor landscape for certain specific things, but pretty much, I think right now you could probably look and then there's Apple. But you could look at probably there's those like four big boys, and it's good that we have some competition in the marketplace, especially from Intel. I like what they're putting out. They're adding some AI technology to their processors, and what's happening is they are also adding some discrete integrated graphics. This is much needed, especially in the handheld market and in the laptop market, where AMD has kind of been the front runner when it comes to that with their processors. They've had a much better processor, much faster graphics capability integrated into their APUs than anybody else on the market. So this is really big. Unfortunately, Intel is not competing with AMD really well yet at this point when it comes to performance and their speed, but that may change, and that will change when it comes down to AI compatibility and the ability that the Intel architecture has on some AI capabilities in that area. But if you're looking for something with some pure performance and speed, something along the lines of what Apple has, the Snapdragon X Elite will do some really fast video production. It'll do certain things much quicker than some other processors out there. So on the level of a lot of the things that the Apple M3 and M2 has been able to do, this processor is going to keep up with it really well in those areas. But it does lack in other areas when it comes to gaming. Cool thing about the X Elite hitting the market, that's going to be a processor that will allow you to probably add a video card. So you will be able to take that processor and make it a complete machine if you want to, if they come out with with full motherboards with video card slots or laptops that have added video cards to them. So the new Snapdragon processor, this is not a cell phone processor. This is a full-on processor that is going to compete directly with the likes of AMD and Intel, and Microsoft is supporting it as well, moving it into the realm of running Windows really well. So a lot of you are going to have some choices to look at in the near future. The AI cores, that's rated by this thing called TOPS. It's a way of measuring performance for AI. It really is an interesting way of measuring performance, and not completely 100% accurate in every way, because you have to take into account certain processors are going to do certain things better than other processors. especially when it comes to software being optimized for that particular thing. Now, the tests they're putting out now, you can take everything with a grain of salt, because in 6 months from now, I can guarantee you all those tests will probably be completely different, including the tests having to do with the Intel Core Ultra processors with the ARC technology, as well as the tests that have been done with the X Elite, as well as any other competing tests going on. Zen 5 is on the way. It's coming later this year. This is the new AMD architecture. AMD has been leading the way when it comes to APUs and discrete graphics, and really been doing a great job. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be competition, because they desperately need the competition, and I think Intel is in a strategic place to do that. One of the reasons why is Intel actually has the capability of producing their own processors, unlike these other companies. So Intel is going to be actually gearing up their production lines, and they're going to be producing and having their own supply chains for the processors, unlike some of the other companies, which may make things a little more reliable. We're going to have to wait and see. But there's no doubt about what's happening with AI is changing the way these processors are being considered and made. And it's changing everything about the landscape that we're living in, as far as, what we're dealing with. Things will become obsolete in a very short amount of time. We've got a lot of new technologies that's going to change the landscape of computing, and you're going to need to try to understand those things so you can roll in the right direction that suits you the best. When it comes to processors, I don't really recommend anybody, nail them down to just one processor. You want to, of course, consider all your options and make a smart decision going into that area. They've all had their issues. Intel, AMD, Snapdragon even has had some issues in the past. So there is, everybody has some stumbling blocks, and usually when a new technology gets released onto the market, that's when I kind of usually back off a little bit, and I'm like, well, let's wait. I'm not buying any of this equipment and for at least 6 months until after it hits the market. Probably be early next year before I start stepping into some of this stuff. One of the things, though, is the handheld gaming market. This Intel Arc right here, the Ultra with Arc technology, this is important. The MSI Claw is out, and that is really, really good in actually competing with AMD. They just need to get the compatibility, and they need to get more. They need to get software companies to write things, drivers and such, to really take advantage of what this stuff can do. And they've been working on the Arc. They have had their Arc video cards out, and actually we've needed more competition in the video card market as well, so that's good. You can also directly buy Intel Arc video cards. They're not nearly as good as NVIDIA or AMD at this point in time. That doesn't mean that there's not room for them to mature and become really good. I mean, when AMD's first video cards were coming out, they weren't the greatest in the world either. So there's always room for advancement and improvement on these things. That being said, when we look at AMD, and you look at the what they've got onto the market, they weren't really that great roughly a decade ago. They were producing subpar processors much slower than Intel, and basically in roughly 10 years they really changed the landscape. That gives you an idea of what a tech company can do. So when we have a company like Snapdragon, in 10 years, will they be one of the top dogs making processors? Who knows? Will the Arc GPUs be one of the top video cards? Who knows? These companies definitely have the capability. You just always got to keep up with what's going on in the industry and never close yourself off, because things rapidly change, especially with what's going on in AI. I'm going to be pushing a lot of AI videos on my channel, and the plan is to start showing you guys some AI tools. some ways to make your own pictures, make your own photos, maybe make some of your own videos with AI and have some fun with AI. Maybe even make some music, etc. So some of the tools I'll be showing off will be really exciting. If you're interested in that, definitely keep an eye on the channel for that, because I've got some really cool stuff coming when it comes to AI. I just wanted to kind of go over tonight a little, bit about what's happening and everything. How's it going, Garrett? Terriel? How's it going over there? Hope everybody's having a great night. I hope you guys are doing really well. I know it's a little late, and I didn't expect to get too many people on this live stream tonight, because usually I got to hit a little earlier to get too many people watching and knowing that I'm going to be on. Plus, I didn't even push or advertise the show at all out to anyone. So it's kind of a little short show. Talking about the tech industry and talking about all the new and exciting things that are happening, but there is a lot to know about going forward in the future. It's like, what kind of product is right for you? Do you live somewhere where you don't have a lot of space, where you don't need a full tower PC? Would a handheld machine be a better option for you? That you can put into a dock and then hook to your TV, or hook to a dock and put onto a monitor? Is that an option, or is it, a laptop a good option for you? Because laptops are becoming really powerful today with some of the technology that's coming out onto the market. So we're seeing less and less where people need to have a full tower PC. More and more people have those for gaming, or if they're in the tech industry like I am and you need them for your work. So more and more people are moving into smaller 1 liter PCs, mini PCs, and etc. And I think that's going to be a trend going forward. We're going to see more and more smaller form factor type of units that have plenty of performance. Looking at the APUs and what they're capable of doing, when you look at for instance, products like the Ryzen Z1 series. Let's go ahead and look at that here. So the handheld Z1 series, this is a fairly recent, hasn't been out that long, the Z1 Extreme and the Z1. This is in some items like the ROG, Republic of Gamers Asus handheld device, full PC, very nice device that's got a lot of performance and power. So as you look forward, the Lenovo Legion Go also is powered by that processor. Got a lot of other handhelds that are powered by the mobile processors, other mobile processors as well. These processors were specifically made for this particular landscape, though, of the handheld landscape. So that's an area that I think a lot of people probably are really interested in, because it's a booming section of the tech industry, is the handheld gaming section. And if you can build a handheld gaming unit that you can dock and plug into a TV and actually use it like a complete PC as well, to either play games on or watch movies even, or do a lot of other PC things that you would want to do, that's a really cool thing, because you can sit down with a keyboard and a mouse on a nice big screen, whether it's a 40, 50, 60 something inch, whatever you might have in your home, and you can dock that thing and you can have yourself a lot of performance, because this is not a slow device at all. When it comes to gaming, it far surpasses what the Snapdragon X Elite can do at the moment, but that depends on what happens going forward with that processor. A lot of room for improvement for it, a lot of room for it to surpass the AMD Z series, but then AMD will continue to come out with new models of their processors as well. This is great for all of us, because we need this in the industry. We need competition. I've never seen as much competition coming out as I'm seeing right now. Instead of there just being like 2 processors out there, we've got multiple processor companies now, between the Apple making their own processors and Snapdragon and Intel and AMD. It's a really exciting time. And I think everybody should be excited about the opportunities that are going to be out there for us to be able to actually purchase things for better deals and, get better performance and better gameplay and better everything. You just have to do a little bit of research to understand which is going to be best for you in your particular situation, because everybody's got a little bit of a different situation at home depending on what your particular home life is and what your needs are, to meet those needs. um, in the on the other side of things, we all need to know that things change rapidly in this world, so you always got to keep up with the news. That means subscribing to channels like mine and other tech people that will give you the up-to-date information that's going on out there, because otherwise it's harder for you to know what's going on. So definitely do that and know what's happening. But depending on, whatever your needs are, whether you want to play games or whether you want to use a machine as a just a normal daily machine, there's always something out there within a good budget for you. And if you really have a low budget, you can even look into the slightly reconditioned market, which is actually not a bad way to go either. I've bought a lot of reconditioned items for myself. My last laptop I bought was reconditioned off eBay. So there are plenty of really good options out there for you to go in that area. If you're looking for streaming devices, you guys probably have seen my me talk about people should stay away from using the Amazon Fire Stick. I still stand by that. Stay away from the Amazon Fire Stick. Things are changing rapidly for Amazon. Most people are feeling the same way, and you should really be moving into a different direction. There are lots of options for you out there when it comes to different types of streaming devices for your TV, and that's one of the places where I wanted to talk about the handhelds. Those are one option for you to go with, depending on how much you want to spend. If you want a really, really good device that meets more than just one need when it comes to streaming. If you want a really budget streaming device, obviously there's, things out there. One thing, one thing that bothered me that I saw recently, though, on a show was somebody talking about box selling in general. And I'm of the opinion you should always be 100% upfront with your customers on selling whatever you're selling. So if you're selling a certain device, let's just say the device is $20. You should tell the people, well, the device is this is what the device is. My labor for that device is $40 labor for programming it. If you want a service, well, I can give you a service as well. I'm just throwing, random numbers out there, really. But you could say the service is $60 for 6 months for a, TV service that you add onto the device as well. And then you're selling them a device and you're making your profit. Obviously, you should make something on the TV service. You're making your 40 for programming the device. And then the people know they're getting a device that's only $20. You should never, take the cover off and try to tell people you should, give them a blank white box that doesn't have a name on it, when the name's going to be on the remote and on the device anyway. People are going to know what they're getting. So be upfront with people, because that can cause you problems. You could have people come back at you and be like, hey, why'd you try to hide what this is, what this was, or whatever. The name of the game is making your customers happy. In my business that I've had almost 30 years now doing IT and computer work, you always got to make the customer happy so they keep coming back. That's the key to making money. If you want to continue to make money, you need to continue to have those customers coming back to you. Word of mouth, customer satisfaction is key. So definitely keep that in mind, and just, always do the right thing when it comes to your customers. Make sure they're getting their money's worth, and don't try to there's no reason to try to hide or lie about things. If you're straight up about it, then you never got to worry about somebody coming back to you like, hey, well, this was a little bit shady. Why'd you do this to me? You could have just told me, and that, one thing though is you're never going to make everybody happy either. So always remember, in business, you're going to have customers that try to take advantage of you as well. And on the flip side of that argument, you'd never want to let those customers take advantage of you. And you always want to know that you're not going to make everybody happy, because some people just have unrealistic expectations. So you then gotta, make sure that those expectations are tempered with, and you make sure they know the proper expectations to know about what they're doing, so that your customer doesn't get upset when they have unrealistic expectations when it comes down to it. I know I've had my share of customers that have tried to, you know, uh, pull one over on me in the past, over all these years. And it's been few and far between. Most of the time, everything goes pretty smoothly, but you're always going to have that occasional person that is maybe not as honest as you are, that will try to get more out of you than you really should get, than they should get. And that's when you really gotta like pump the brakes and be, hey, you know what, sorry, I have to cut you off. I'm not going to do business with you anymore. So that is also something to be said, and it's smart to be able to know that, and do that at that point in time. If a customer has unreasonable expectations, tell them go find somebody else. There's other people out there. I'm not the only person, that can do the work. You can try to find somebody else to do the work, and that's fine. I'm so busy. I don't really have a problem having plenty of work to do. I usually People are waiting on me to be able to get to them. That's probably the thing customers get upset about the most, is how quickly I can actually get to helping them, because I've got so much stuff going on that it's really hard for me to try to take care of everybody. And I tell them, I'm like, well, I got appointments. I'm booked up, until such and such a date, and I can't help you until then. And you know, if that's doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. So that's something that you always have to know as well. Know your limits. Make sure the customers have proper expectations, and be upfront about what they're getting. And that's about it. I hope you guys are having a great night. I had a great night, and yeah, just a small little show, jumping on for a few minutes. If anybody has any questions, leave a comment down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to try to answer and get back to you on any questions you have for me. If there's something specific that you'd like to know about, thought, just for the heck of it, I'd jump on for a little bit tonight and just have a little bit of fun. And I think I did. And hopefully you guys did too. And I will see you in the next video. You have a good evening.